So anyway, we are counting down. The parsha today is a double portion because this is not a leap year in the Jewish calendar, so we have a double portion. It's Vayachel, which is an assembly, and the other is Pekudei, which is accounts or an accounting. So let's begin with the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us with his commandments and commands us to engross ourselves in words of Torah. Now, the title that I'm going to be talking about today is Don't Go Back the Way You Came. Like I said, this is a double portion, and the parsha begins with instructions for Shabbat, and it continues on with contributions for the construction of the tabernacle. Now, subsequent chapters in this parsha give us Hashem's detailed plans for the design of the Mishkan, or the tabernacle, with all the furnishings necessary for the worship that God has ordained for us. The parsha concludes with a description of the priestly garments and the construction of the Mishkan, and then God's presence. It said it settled down so heavy on the finished product of the tabernacle, the Mishkan, that Moses could not enter into the gates of the tent of meeting. God's presence was so strong that they just couldn't even get in there. And this is reminiscent of the time when the first temple was completed under Solomon. They said that the power of God was so strong in that place that the priests could not even stand up. They were just knocked over, and they were on their faces before the power of God. So here we see this precursor to that today. Now, today, though, rather than going into the Torah portions, I would like to look at the Haftarah reading today. Now, the Haftarah, in case you didn't know, that is readings from the other parts of the Tanakh, the Old Testament. Under the Greeks, the Jews were not allowed to teach from Torah. Okay, the Torah scroll, they couldn't do that. In fact, a lot of Torah scrolls were destroyed under the Greek period. And so all they could do, they would let them read from the other writings, the prophets and Psalms and Proverbs, Song of Solomon, those things, because the Greeks said, well, those are not really their holy scriptures, so we'll let them read from that. That's no big deal. But what they didn't realize is that the rabbis, the leaders, went through the Tanakh, and they mined certain scriptures that would have been pertinent to what the Torah reading was for that week. And so, we in Judaism, we always read out of the same Torah portions all over the world. If you go to any synagogue anywhere in the world, we're all going to be reading out of Vayachel and Pekudei. It's just that's just the way we do it. And so then the Haftarah portion is also based on that. So that is what is read in the synagogues all over the world. The only difference is in Messianics, we read from the Brit Hadashah, okay? And even then, there's no standard there, or nothing that's written in stone as to what we read from the Brit Hadashah. So a lot of times I will take a portion of something from the Brit Hadashah that more closely aligns with what it is that I'm speaking on, and then that way we can tie it all together. All right? So that was not a rabbit trail. That was just a rabbi trail. That was just explaining things, okay? All right. Let me read the Haftarah portion. the prince will both enter and exit by the eastern gate. Now, we got a picture. This is the eastern gate there in Jerusalem. Now, yet the people approach and depart the temple differently. Now, there's a couple of things to note here. Now, also, we were going to get into, we had a big discussion yesterday about, okay, what's the eastern gate? That this is not the eastern gate that Yeshua rode in on the donkey on, okay? This was built much later, I think during the Crusader period, or maybe during the Byzantine era. I'm not real sure, but it was sealed up by one of the Muslim leaders. Suleiman was the one that's what I was trying to think. It was Suleiman sealed it up because he believed that the Messiah would come through that gate and enter the city. And so if I seal it up, then the Messiah can't come through. And then they also put a cemetery in front of the gate because the Jews wouldn't go through a cemetery. And so little did he know that, when Messiah comes, a little bit of concrete in a gate is not going to make a whole lot of difference to Yeshua, okay? And so verse 10 says that the prince will come in among the people. Now, this to me is exciting to realize that Yeshua, the ruler of the millennial kingdom, will be walking among his people, mingling with all who come to worship. He'll take time to be with us personally. Can you imagine that? We go to Jerusalem, go into up to the temple, and there in that outer court there, Yeshua is going to be just walking around saying, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. It's going to be great." Said, how's everything working out for you these days? Just the King of the universe. That's kind of personal. God did that with the Israel. I talked about it last week or week before about God walking among the people in the camp. When they were out in the wilderness, God said that He walks around with them and among them. Now they didn't know it, but this time they're going to know that this is Yeshua, and He is talking. This is the Messiah, the long-awaited Messiah, and He's going to be just entering in and speaking with people. And the second thing I wanted to bring up is that people are to leave by a different gate from which they entered. Now, this is a great lesson, if you ask me, that we're looking at here. David rejoiced when he was told in Psalms 121 or 122 and 1 says, "Let us go into the house of Adonai." But when he left God's house, he was changed. He said, "For the sake of the house of Adonai, I will speak your good." In other words, because I was in the house of God, I was changed, and now I'm a different person. I speak better of people. I'm just a better person. His trip to God's house moved him to speak for God's good. Now, Rav Shaul, the Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 5:17, "Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah, he is a new creation. The old things have passed away. Behold, all things become new." Now, let's break that down. If anyone, it says there, if anyone, now this is a promise for anyone, all right? It doesn't matter what class, what race, what nationality, what language, or what level of intelligence. Anyone can be a new creation in Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah. That's anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter. And now, going on there, it says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah." Now, what does that mean? This is a promise for anyone who is in Messiah. This is not a promise for those who are in themselves. All right? You get that? This is only for people that are in Messiah. And so if you're into the religion of man or or something else like the secular humanism of today, that's a religion all of its own. This progressivism and the idea that Okay, yeah, God created man and women, men and women, okay? Progressives created all those other genders, all right? God didn't do that. All right, so to me, they don't exist. And so that's what he's saying here. You got to be in Messiah. You're not going to be in these other religions, these other thought processes, political things, and so forth. The communism is its own religion. Socialism is its own religion. Progressivism is its own religion. So that is not in Messiah. And then going on, it says, he is a new creation. Now, old things have passed away. Behold, all if we are in Messiah, we are a new creation. So what does that mean? It means that old habits no longer have us chained to unhealthy appetites and desires. All that kept us from God is now swept away. It's gone. The psalmist tells us that in Psalms 103 and 12, said, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. Now, I've explained this before, but I think it's a good lesson. You know why the Bible talks about our sins being separated from us as far as the east is from the west? The reason is because if he had said as far as the north is from the south, well, I can take you to the North Pole, okay? And I've never been to the North Pole, but I've been above the Arctic Circle, and it's cold. All right, but I can take, you can go to the North Pole where, and then you can go to the South Pole. And once you get there to the north, then if you keep traveling, then you're going to go south. And then you can get to the South Pole, and if you keep traveling, you're going to go north. So you can go to the north and the south. So if God put your sins as far as the north is from the south, well, guess what? That's 12,500 miles away. All right, but if he says that he put the sins as far as the east is from the west, if you start traveling on this globe east and you keep on going, you will never end up going west. You keep on going east the whole time. If you head off going west, you're going to keep on going west as long as go west, young man, like Horace Greeley said. You're going to keep on going west as long until your little old feet just slap out. And that's why I said, as far as the east is from the west, it's infinity. That's how far he separates us from our sins. It goes off into infinity. And whenever I think of infinity, I think of little kids, when they'll say something. How does that thing go? When you say something the same time, then you'll say jinx. Then they'll go back and, eventually you're jinx to infinity, that sort of thing, So you're as far away. You never come to the sin again. When we come to faith in Yeshua, we should leave all our failings, our sin, our habits, leave them there at the altar. That's one of the things that sometimes, there's a difference between the old-timey fundamentalist Christian churches and Messianic Judaism, is we don't really have a place where people can come and pray and leave their sins at the altar. There's some good and the bad in that, the whole thing. But it's God always had an altar. And, of course, you burned the sacrifices on the altar. You didn't go up there and kneel down and pray before an altar. But when you go to God, wherever it is, sometimes for me, I've got some concrete picnic tables, concrete little bench. Those of you that have been at my house, you've seen those, out in the woods. And so to me, that is one great place of inspiration. And I can go out there and sit and talk to the Lord. And, I can just leave whatever it is I wanted to leave. I can leave it right there on that concrete bench and walk away from it. And guess what? When I go back there, it's gone. God has taken that away. We need to when we give him a burden, leave it there. Don't take it back home with you. Do you have a burden on your heart? Turn it over to Yeshua and let him deal with it. That doesn't mean that we quit praying for that loved one who has yet to get right with the Lord. No, you keep praying for your kids. Any of you that have children that have not come to the Lord, or parents, or some loved one that hasn't come to the Lord yet, you don't just say, okay, Lord, I pray that you'll bless Johnny and make him a believer. And then that's it. You never ask God to, never talk to the Lord about him again. If that's my kid, no, I'm going to keep praying until, he comes to the Lord. So you keep on praying, but you turn it over to the Lord and let him handle it. A lot of times people will keep, they'll pray for the kid, and they'll do everything that is physically, humanly possible then to take care of it themselves, and instead of letting God work things out. Sometimes people have to go through some rough times in order to come to the Lord. All right? And so if it's our kids, well, we don't want them to go through rough times. We want to fix it for them. I don't know if y'all are fixers, but it pains us when our children go through difficult times. And so just turn it over to the Lord. Let him handle it. It will take a heavy load off your shoulders. God told Ezekiel that the people should go out of the north gate if they entered through the south gate, and vice versa. Now, those that entered through the north gate should go home the south. Those that entered the south should go home to the north. Why? Because if you had an encounter with the Prince of Peace, then you will be changed. You meet Yeshua there walking around with you. He comes over and shakes your hand. Then you are going to be changed. Don't go back the way you came in. Don't go back to those same old haunts. Don't go back to the same old websites or bars or hangouts that do not lift up yourself or do not lift up Yeshua. And, I like the symbolism of some of the old ancient stairs that are in these old ancient mikvahs. If you've ever been to Qumran, where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, you'll see mikvot there. That's plural for mikvah. Okay, mikvot. And you'll see that they have a little, as the stairs go down, but there's a little bit of a cement or whatever, a plaster separating. It's just a little bump actually that just goes up on that. And so this one doesn't show it too awfully well, but what it amounts to is that when you go down into the mikveh, then you totally submerge yourself. You're going into, you're symbolizing that you're dead. What happens when you go under the water and you drown? You're dead. You're going under the water, and all of those old things that you had before, they're gone now. And so you come up, that you're dead to your past. When you come out of the water, you're alive with a new future. So then when you walk out of the mitzvah, it's on the opposite side of the steps from which you walked in. Don't go back the way you came in. So how easy is it not to go back? Well, I'll admit, it's easier for some people than it is for others to just keep on going forward and never fall back into old habits. I'm happy for that person that can drop things just cold turkey. I remember back when my dad was a smoker. He, as many people of the World War II generation were. And he smoked Camels, the ones without a filter. He'd walk a mile for one, and so you have to be a certain age to understand that one. Okay. And but he smoked all the time. And so he one day, the guy that worked with him as close as he could, close friend and so forth, in his control room, in the chemical plant, he had cancer. And so he finally came back to work, and it was lung cancer or throat cancer, something like that. Basically, it was something associated with the smoking. And so he came back in and started smoking again. And my dad said, well, you're crazy. Why are you smoking now? It almost killed you before. It's going to kill you again. He says, well, how can I quit smoking when I'm in with you every day, 8 hours a day, and you're smoking? He says, I can't stop it. And that's what nicotine will do. That it's an addiction, okay? It's what it is. And so my dad just looked at him, took his cigarettes, threw them away. He said, that was the last one. And he did. He said, I'm never going to smoke again. And he didn't. But, he told me later on, he says, when I get around somebody just lights up that first cigarette, he says, that smell, he says, it's still attractive to me. And, people who are alcoholics, they said, the smell of the alcohol is attractive to them. And so he never, though, went back to that habit of smoking. Sometimes it's hard, but Yeshua said, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When Paul was burdened, Yeshua told him, said, look, my grace is sufficient for you. Don't worry about those other things that you're worrying about. My grace is sufficient. It will cover it all. He said that in 2 Corinthians 12:9. Those words are as true today as they were 2,000 years ago. His grace is sufficient for all of our sins. His grace is sufficient for all of our faults, our failures. Just turn everything over to him, and then when you do, don't go back the way you came in. When you come in here, you meet up with the Holy Spirit and the Lord. Don't go back the way you came. What we probably need to do is I should have for today had that door open so when you leave here, you go out that door. We're kind of constrained by architecture, but it's a good thing to keep in mind that when you encounter the Lord, then you're changed. Don't go back to where you were before. It's you don't want to fall back and get into that muddy old pit again. So could we stand? And we're going to pray, and then we're going to have a special thing here today. Okay, Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King. We just pray this morning that you would be with us, bless us, and that help each and every one of us to understand that when we come to you We need to change and don't go back the way we came. That we need to go forward in a new way. Come in that south gate, go out the north gate. Come in the north gate, you go out the south gate. Father, we just pray that you just help each and every one of us to do that. And we pray these things in the name of Yeshua.